Hey guys, today we'll be talking about which is better, a used Model S or a new Model 3. So if you're interested, stay tuned. I hear this question being asked all the time online, so I figure I'd give it my opinion. So being a Model 3 owner, I think it's pretty obvious which choice I'm going to make, but I'm going to give you some reasons why I think the Model 3 is a better buy. Today I'm going to compare a new SR Plus to a used Model S 75 that I found online in my local area. So we're obviously going to be comparing them based on price, so that's going to be a wash for the most part, but there are some hidden costs that you might not think about when you're looking at a used Model S, including insurance. That's definitely going to be higher because the Model S is a higher starting value car. So usually when you look at insurance, the higher the start value is, the more insurance costs. Registration will also be more expensive because of this same reason. And even things like tires could be more expensive depending on which ones you buy, because I think most of the time the Model S rims are actually bigger and wider. And so obviously the wider the tire, the more rubber, which means it's going to be more costly. For this same price though, you do get a couple of things that are basically the same. The range is pretty much the same at 250 miles per charge, and the top speed is also basically the same at about 140 miles an hour. The SR Plus does have a slightly better 0 to 60 at 5.3 seconds, and you're getting a brand new car compared to the used Model S. In our example, that's a 2016, which means it's 4 years old at this point. And with being 4 years old, the car has over 50,000 miles on it, and so that's already going to be a lot of wear and tear on a car. And I know that Teslas basically, they are known for kind of being bulletproof and driving for a really long time because they're electric, but you still have to, take into account the exterior, which is going to be probably beat up by rocks and things like that, and the interior, 50,000 miles, the people sitting in the car and stuff, compared to a totally brand new car that's never been used before. And since Tesla's a tech company, we're all about the tech, and so having a 4-year-old car in tech years is pretty much ancient. With that said, the MCU is old and a bit laggier. You can still get FSD for it, so if you were to go that route, you might be able to upgrade and have a faster computer, but if you don't, you're going to have an older computer. Or simply, since it's 4 years old, the MCU might just die. We do drive computers on wheels, and so basically, these parts do die sometimes, and so basically, if you have a 4-year-old car compared to a new car, there is that possibility that it could die at some point faster than you want it to. Another thing that's kind of a letdown on the Model S is the portrait design screen. And so when I had a loaner, my Model 3 was in the shop at Tesla's service center, I did not like that the screen was so low since it is portrait. So doing things like trying to adjust your AC is pretty much like texting because you have to look almost totally down to adjust it. And so that's just, I just don't like that. It's not a very safe way to drive the car. And also the interior is kind of old too. I think that's kind of a lot of people do complain about how old looking the interior on Model S is compared to the newer Model 3. There have been some rumors flying around that Tesla may upgrade the interior of the Model S, but they're really just rumors at this point. There have been talks that they might do a minimalist design like the Model 3. In my opinion though, I don't really think that makes sense though, because then it's going to be pretty much the same car as the 3, and the Model S is the flagship car of Tesla, and so I would think they'd want to set the Model S apart from the 3, so they're two basically different cars. Another thing you can't utilize on the used Model S is that since it was built in 2016, Sentry Mode / dash cam is not the same as on the Model 3. That year, up until about 2018, the Model S did not have the side repeaters. So basically you're only going to be able to use the front and the rear camera for the used Model S, which is kind of a big bummer because you're losing half the system, which is going to be very useful in a lot of situations. With that said, you also don't have the interior camera on the Model S as well, like the Model 3. So there's no way you're going to be able to do a robo taxi for the Model S. That's basically only for the Model 3. So if you're, banking on that or looking into passive income using your car as part of the robo-taxi service, you can't do that with the Model S. Another thing I found really funny is that the Model S does not have passive entry. So on the Model 3, you can use your phone as a key to enter the car passively. And on the Model S, you can't do that. You actually have to have your fob to open the car. And so I just found that really funny and kind of weird that they don't have that for a car that starts at $75,000. However, I do believe that Elon has mentioned in a tweet that they are working on this, and at some point the Model S is going to get passive entry, but it's just funny that they didn't start out with that because that doesn't seem like a super complicated thing to do for a car. The Model S just feels like a freaking boat, and so when I drove it around, it feels very heavy and not nimble, so I don't think it's that fun of a car to drive compared to the 3 that's smaller, lighter, and more nimble in the corners. Maybe unless you get a P100D that can stay up, maybe the plaid one or something, but that's for a different video. We're not comparing that one. And so the regular Model S 75 just didn't feel very, very fun to drive. Not as fun anyway as the Model 3. Supercharging is going to be slower. So the Model S and the Model 3 have different BMSs, battery management systems. The Model 3's is definitely superior to the Model S, and it can handle way more power. So basically right now the max is 250 kilowatts. The Model 3 can handle all of that. I'm not sure 100% how fast the Model S can go, but it's definitely slower. I believe 150 kilowatts max. I think it might be even lower than that. And so that is definitely not going to be good. Now, if you're just charging at home, this is not going to be a big deal because you just plug it in overnight and whatever. But it's going to be, if you take a lot of road trips, this is where it's going to get really annoying because then you're going to have to spend more time sitting there to charge because the car is older and it doesn't have the same capabilities as the newer Model 3. On top of that, you're also going to have to spend a little bit more money because the Model S is a heavier car, meaning that it's not going to be as efficient as the lighter Model 3. There were a couple of things that were better on the used Model S, one being the warranty. So because the Model S is the flagship car of Tesla, even if you buy this used one, you do get 2 years or up to 100,000 miles. So in our example, that's another 43,000 miles that you get of warranty, whereas compared to the new Model 3, it's 4 years and 50,000 miles, and that's it. The trunk on the Model S is better in multiple ways. One, it's bigger than the Model 3, and so I always find that I'm struggling with the Model 3 to fit things that are a little bit bigger in the back. Just the way the trunk is shaped just is really hard to fit bigger things in there, whereas the Model S, you shouldn't have that problem because it is a bigger trunk. And also, the Model S has the power liftgate, which is really nice. I wish they would have that on the Model 3. My Model 3 in particular, I have a aftermarket power liftgate, but it would have been nice if it came stock like the new Model Y. So I hope these reasons help you decide which one is better for you, but wink wink, I'd recommend the Model 3. So if you're in this market, which car will you buy, knowing all these facts I just threw at you? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.